Hey y'all, it's Dawn, and I'm so glad you're back. I've got another fun, budget-friendly DIY video for you today. I found this little wheelbarrow in my stash. I had previously painted it black. I decided to change the color to white and repainted it. I painted the inside and outside with Waverly plaster chalk paint and left the wheels and the handles black. I created this little saying on Design Space and used my Cricut to cut it out. I applied it to the side of the wheelbarrow. Next, I took some of this floral foam and cut it down to fit inside of the wheelbarrow. I then used various floral picks to decorate the inside of the wheelbarrow. And just look at how stinking cute this wheelbarrow turned out with all the flowers. I found this cute little bench at Dollar General for $1. Originally, I had painted it black, but decided I didn't like it, so I went over the black with more plaster chalk paint. The bench had these cute little butterflies on the back, so with them, I just lightly painted them so they would stand out more on the bench. After the paint dried, I lightly sanded the bench to allow some of the black to show through. I added a couple of mini pillows to the bench using fabric I had in my stash. After cutting the fabric the size that I wanted, I hot glued the sides together and left the top open. I stuffed a small amount of paper towel in the pillow. I used this Dollar Tree piercer to give the pillow a fringe look. And then hot glued the top shut. I then added a dab of glue to the front of the pillow and added a Dollar Tree button to the front of each pillow. And that's all it took to create this cute little bench. I had one more item I had gotten at Dollar General that I wanted to add to my tier tray. I found this little rocking chair also for $1. And again, I had originally painted it black, so I went back over it with some plaster chalk paint. I painted the entire rocking chair, but left the rockers and the arms black. After the rocking chair was dry, I used a 220 grit sandpaper to distress the chair just a little. I created another mini pillow using the same fabric I had used for the bench. I rolled the fabric up and tied the ends with some twine. I think all of these Dollar Tree garden minis turned out so stinking cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. I got 10 wooden houses on one of my adventures, and if I remember right, I paid $10 for all 10 houses. I thought this one was perfect for this project, but the colors, which are adorable, just don't match my decor. I used Waverly plaster chalk paint and painted the entire house, and it did take 2 coats to cover everything up. After the paint dried, I lightly sanded it and then distressed it with Waverly Elephant chalk paint and a fanned brush. And guys, it looks like I'm missing some parts for this DIY. But what I did was cut out this design bundles cut file using my Cricut and applied it to the farmhouse. It was that easy, and it is so stinking adorable. Let me know in the comments what you think. What is a tiara tray without a beaded garland? I used 3 size beads, 10mm, 12mm, and 14mm. I wrapped a piece of painter's tape around the end of my string. I placed 2 10mm beads on the string, then one 12mm bead, and one 14mm bead. I kept doing this until I was happy with the length. When I got my desired length, I tied a knot in one end of the garland by wrapping the rope around itself about 4 times and then pulling the string through the center. On the other end, I cut the string, leaving enough so I could create a tassel for the garland. I wrapped another piece of string around my hand 10 or 15 times. Next, I fed the long string from my garland and tied it in the middle of the tassel. And then cut the long string from the tassel. I then gathered all the strings and cut them at the bottom to make the tassel. I gathered all pieces of the tassel in one hand and cut the long string off. I'm going to use the long string at the top of the tassel. I placed the string under the tassel and tied a knot, making sure it was tight. I added a dab of hot glue to the knot and started wrapping the string around the top of the tassel. When I got to the end of the string, I pressed it into the hot glue, which was still warm, and trimmed the excess. I gathered the tassel again in my hand and trimmed it. I moved the beads towards the tassel, leaving a little bit of space for movement, or rather, so the garland wouldn't be stiff and unable to wrap around things. And tied another knot where I wanted the beads to stop and cut off the excess. And that was it for the garland. And just look at how sweet it is on my tier tray. Please take a second to like this video and leave me a comment. This really helps my channel to grow so others, just like yourself, can find me. If you just found me, I hope you will join our little family by hitting the subscribe button. If you are already part of the family, thank you so much for your love and support. Y'all are the absolute best. Check out my new Amazon store for craft supply and farmhouse home decor recommendations. All the products I use from Amazon in my videos can be found there. Until next time, happy crafting!